James, how do you feel about the teams? How do you feel the team's coming along? We've got this busy sort of December month coming up. It's always busy. So, what do you make of the team's progress so far this year?
Yeah, I think as the season as a whole, I think we had plainly obvious, we had a bad start. I think once we've obviously had a lot of injuries as well, but I think the last 10 games have been a big positive. Even games like Crewe, for example, like played really well, and at least we should take a point away from home. We've been unlucky in some games, so I think as a team we're really progressing well. The performances are really coming along, and we've had some really good results at home to go along with that.
You feel the league's still somewhat open, and for that reason, do you think there's still plenty of time to sort of achieve what you wanted to achieve, perhaps at the start of the season as a group?
Yeah, I mean we're only 20 games in, so not even at the halfway stage. I think this Christmas period, as you said, a lot of games coming up in December and January. This is kind of where you find out the pretenders from the contenders. So I think the manager spoke about it a lot. Is really kicking on now and full focus on our league campaign.
And how are you finding your second season at the football club?
Yeah, I really enjoyed my first season here. A lot of different challenges, obviously going through change of management and change of sort of styles, and so I really enjoyed my first season. This season, obviously, another change, getting to know the new backroom staff. Again, kind of hindered with injury at the start of the season, but I've really enjoyed coming back into the team and working with them.
Is that a challenge that I suppose if you're on the outside you can take for granted a little bit when there are managerial changes? I guess you've got to adapt as a player every single time, haven't you? You've got to adjust to sort of demands on you, expectations, and what your role's going to be, where you're going to play, stuff like that, and that'll be a little bit different with every manager.
Yeah, there's obviously loads to take into account. Obviously, we knew manager was coming in before the summer, so you get to go and have a think about it over the summer. But yeah, you're totally right. There's loads of things that go into it in terms of not just you as a player, but also you know your personality, whether you're going to get on and whether they like you as a character and stuff like that. So everything again is having to prove yourself over again and making sure that you play on a Saturday.
One of the things the manager talked about when he came in was he wants sort of characters, and that's kind of how he wants to fill his dressing room. So what's the dynamic like in there? And who's the most lively? Who gets it going in that dressing room?
I think, to be fair, a lot of his signings over the summer have come in, and there's been a wee bit of not so much a culture change, but there's a different feel to it this season in terms of the group we've got. In terms of being lively, I think for me, Owen Bailey's been like, for me, like somebody to buzz off. I get along with him really well, so I'd say that for him.
And the cup, does it appeal to players, to have a run in the FA Cup? Obviously, as a team, you had the really good League Cup draw where you managed to take on Everton. So is there a real desire to get into the third round? And I suppose you never know who's going to come out the hat.
Yeah, for me personally, I really look forward to the FA Cup games. As you say, one of my favourite games I've played in my career so far has been that Everton game, just for the atmosphere and seeing the stadium full and kind of being a little buzz around the place was, one of my favourite games and what we'd want to probably achieve again. Obviously took them all the way as well, so you want to have that sort of scalp on your record, especially when you are in the lower leagues. I think the FA Cup run's got to be something that you look towards.
And is Peterborough a good test as well? They're one of the better teams in League One. Good to come up against them.
Yeah, I think they're a strong side without having seen too much of them. Obviously, I think they're always, from my perspective, are always around the playoffs or promotion in League One. Always really strong at home as well. So yeah, obviously a tough challenge, but I don't think our approach will change too much from what we usually do.
Final question, bit of a left field one this. What will your reaction be if Scotland draw England at the Euros this weekend?
Celebrating, because we usually do pretty well against England. Barring, well, actually, no, the last major tournament was 0-0, and that was like a winters. So, I hope we do get England, but he's all looking pretty strong. So, I wouldn't be gutted if we avoided them.
Did you get the DVD of that 0-0 draw?
Oh God, they're all the same, These English people, eh? Terrible.